Hi, everyone. Today we're talking to Scott Barker from Sales Hacker, and he's going to share some really great advice on what you can do right now if you're looking for a job. But Scott, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat with you. So my name is Scott Barker. I run partnerships at a company called Sales Hacker. We're one of the largest communities for B2B sales professionals. So we have a blog. We do 2 webinars a week. We've got a really large podcast, and it's all just about helping sales and marketers level up in their profession. And I also act as an evangelist for a company called Outreach, which is a sales engagement platform who actually acquired the Sales Hacker community a year and a half ago. And I run their podcast as well, the Sales Engagement Podcast. So do a lot of fun things.
Cool. So what we wanted to talk about, a few days ago, you shared a really great advice on, what you would do if you had to find a job right now in this economy. And I thought it would be really interesting to share it here with people and maybe even give a few tactical, bits of advice on how to actually get started with that.
First off, it's an extremely competitive market out there today, especially for some of the roles at the companies that you really want to, spend your career at. And so I think a lot about this question of, if I lost everything tomorrow, how would I go about finding my new kind of dream home? If I didn't have any of the connections or anything that I had, how would I do it? And I shared this on LinkedIn the other day, and I truly think this is exactly how I would do it. And so I would start some sort of content series. Now, this could be a podcast. This could be a LinkedIn video series. This could be a YouTube series. Or if you're not comfortable speaking or talking on camera, this could even be an ebook, right? And this would be all around helping whatever profession you're looking to get into. For me, I'm in sales, so it would be looking for, let's say, a sales leadership role. And this series that I would create would be for sales leaders. And then go make a list of the top 30 sales leaders that I would want to work for. And instead of reaching out and saying, hey, look at my resume, please give me an interview, I would say, hey, you know what? You've had some really incredible experience in your life. I can see through your LinkedIn. I was wondering if you would be comfortable sharing your experience with my audience in this series we're doing. 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes. People like to share their story. They like to be heard. People know the power of brands now, and they're always looking to contribute. And so then you book 30 minutes on your calendar. You record a session just like this, or you just interview them and put some notes on a Google Doc and spend the first 20 minutes, chatting with them and getting to know them. Lead with curiosity, present your authentic self, and, tactfully weave in the fact that, I'm actually looking for my next role, and I'm doing this to keep super busy and level up until I find that next home. And I am very confident that about 1 in 3 of those leaders that you talk to will say, hey, why don't you interview at my company, or at least give you an introduction to maybe another company if they're not hiring. So that's how I would do it.
And just to let people know, creating a podcast or a video series is so simple these days. Most of it is free. You don't need any technical background. You can buy a microphone for like $10 with decent sound. You don't need anything fancy. You can very easily make it look professional. And all you need is just to find a topic that you're really passionate about and find the right people to bring in to share their point of view.
Like you said, it's as much as getting a headphone, hitting record on Zoom, and uploading to LinkedIn.
Yeah, and I would add, maybe you're not comfortable sharing something publicly, even creating like a research about a specific industry or topic that you like, and then reaching out to those experts and saying, hey, do you mind sharing feedback That's even enough, because even if, it's not public, you're not, becoming famous or building a brand, you still build that relationship by relying on their knowledge instead of just kind of knocking on their, metaphorical LinkedIn door and saying, hey, I need a job.
Yeah, it feels like more of a give than an ask.
Anything you would recommend? Let's say that, I know the hiring manager I want to reach out to. What can I do to stand out that maybe isn't that much around content? Is there anything else we can do to just get their attention?
So, number one is make champions other than the hiring manager. So
Okay.
the role that I eventually got at Sales Hacker, I was a part of an interview process with 300 other people. And one of the things that eventually cemented why I got the role was I believe the hiring manager, and Max, my VP of Marketing then CEO, might refute this, but I think he was like, no, I think we should go with the other guy. But I had made relationships with 3 other people on his team, and they were kind of the deciding factor. He was like waffling, and when your team tells you, oh, they seem like a great fit, that has a big influence. So go make connections with other people that are surrounding the hiring manager. And, it's as simple as just reaching out and saying, hey, I saw this role. It seems like a good fit at first glance, but I want to make sure, that, I'm going to be perfect for this role. Do you have 15 minutes, for a phone call later today so I can ask you a few things about the role? So it's almost like you interviewing them.
Yeah.
And you'll also be able to tease out little nuggets, the language they use, how they describe it, and then use that in the actual. Number 2, it's crazy to me that interview candidates don't consume all of the content that these companies create. They all have blogs, they all have social media channels, and you just need to voraciously consume all of that content, again, just to start thinking how they think and start using the language that they use and how they see and view the world is going to help you so much.
Yeah. What advice would you give your younger self if you were starting over right now?
Mm-hmm. Number 1 is, it is a quote. I didn't make this up. I can't remember who it's attributed to. They're all wrong anyway. But it's something along the lines of, the quickest way to get what you want is to help other people get what they want. And it's so unbelievably true in business. If you leave an army of people in your wake who have good things to say about you and have enjoyed spending time with you and working with you and collaborating with you, you'll never have to worry about having a resume again. You'll have multiple A, B, C, D, E, F, G offers that will always be there because you have these really tight bonds and connections from helping people selflessly. It has to come from an authentic place. But that's and then number 2 is, this is a Charlie Munger quote, so I actually know where this one came from. And it's, to get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. And it seems super simple, but it is very tempting when you're young to take shortcuts. And shortcuts are okay. Trust me, I've taken many, and I'm not one who's just like, put your head down. And, there's certain calculated shortcuts that I think you should take. But if you aren't careful, if you take too many shortcuts, you'll find yourself ill-equipped to handle the challenges in front of you, because you might get what you want, but you might not yet deserve what you want. And when there's the dissonance there, it will cause some problems for you in the long run.
I always say, go for a job you're not 100% ready for, but you can go there if you're 30% ready. You need to be in the 60, 70, 80% area, and then you can kind of make up for the difference and just learn and figure it out as you go.
It's not that you can't do that. Just know that in order to deserve that, you're going to have to pay the price, which is maybe working a ridiculous amount and being stressed out for a long period of time. So,
yeah. Thank you so much, Scott. Really great advice. Hopefully people can go out and start implementing. One lesson from today, beyond the great advice you shared, is go and actually do that.